nothing like dead, so it's really interesting.
The cool thing is,
Everybody's preparing for what might be a half inch of snow, and they're all freaking out. Hank, they are.
Oh.
Hey Keith, can you do me a favor? Do you have the
Yes.
Icon application, or where do I get that from?
The application?
Yeah, there's an application process, isn't there?
The production department, the ICON vetting committee, when agents reach the status of capping plus the 20 transactions after that, paying in another $250 per transaction or $5,000.
Yeah, once all that's done, don't you still have to make application, or does it happen automatically?
It goes to vetting committee, and then from the vetting committee calls out to everyone who's reached it that month.
So they just sit back and wait.
Yes.
Okay.
That's correct.
It's not.
Because one person's accounting versus another person's accounting versus they. I guess that's exactly how it works right now. There's no application process at the moment. However,
yeah, once all that's done, don't you still have to make application?
Some opportunities within our culture of icons to lead the way in how, and that's a whole different discussion. That a sidebar conversation at some point. Yep. Cool.
No, that makes sense. I just had one of my agents reach the status from his accounting, and so when Vicky was always my contact. Now that she's not here, Here's what I love about it is we're resourceful and
Oop. Are we there?
I'm not. Yep. Yeah, I can't hear whoever just dead. So are we having
when
issues?
Vicky was always my contact.
We are.
Now that she's not here,
the soccer field was really easy to hear.
Here's what I love about it.
And now we're here, and
we're resourceful.
There's a whole bunch of things going on.
Yeah, it was the same thing when I was listening to Glenn talk this morning. So you couldn't hear him; he was going in and out.
Okay, am I going in and out too? Because when Keith was talking.
Yeah, you're going in and out as well.
Hey, I've had issues all my life. Does that count?
Well, why not?
It's a long story. Let me start with my mother. No, never mind.
I charge 10 times with a therapist, right? So sound is terrible. Well, we're going to need someone above my pay grade because I've got the best microphone you can get. I could use some help because I don't think
I think you're coming through fine. I think if we talk a little bit faster first, because I think we end up slowing down, thinking we're not being heard, and then people think there's actually a pause when there's not. So let's start with talking normal and then see what happens and let the people out there decide that they can hear us.
Okay, that sounds good to me because I can talk fast. In fact, I don't talk slow very well, so that will work.
Well, good. You can slow.
We got Vanessa here. We got Keith here. We got Elizabeth here. Has Elizabeth shown up yet?
I don't think Elizabeth's shown up yet.
Elizabeth Riley, please stand up. Name the artist.
So Elizabeth Riley has 100 people coming by her house to drop off gifts during this hour. So she's going to hop on when she can. So she'll probably be here a few minutes after the top of the hour. And we're not even at the top of the hour. And in real estate standards, we're way ahead of time.
Hey, y'all got me early. I'm proverbially 5 minutes late for everywhere I go.
That's what I mean.
I live on island time still. And that's why Austin works so well. Coming from an island, I'm like, wait a minute, there's people on time. On time means you're an hour late and you're still the first person to show up.
Oh, that's what we to create, not here in Verbella, but in real life, Icon Island. Yes, let's do that. That would be fun. But so Hank, how's the weather?
It is 76 degrees in my office right now because that is where I like to be. So that's why I don't have office mates. All right, let's jump in. Top of the hour. Welcome everybody to the Icon Conversation on December 7th, 2000. And with us we have Keith and we have Vanessa. Of applause to let me know that we're not talking to a morgue today. Okay, that's as good as the dad jokes get. So that the Icon Conversations were basically a conversation type up here on stage, different than my approach was the last couple of weeks where I was asking questions, firing at them, looking for tips and tricks that could help the people in the audience. So impression of it, and I actually kind of like it. We're going to sit up here as if we're having the three of us that you guys get to sit in on and listen to. And then about, I would say 30 to 40 minutes in, we'll screen through. And if you guys have questions, I'll go ahead and fire at that point. Now, what we are going to do is have an ego conversation up here. What we're going to do is we're going to dig deep into the nitty gritty, the good, the bad, the ugly, and have a real conversation. I'd like to start us off here. Keith, fantastic. Keith, what is the one thing that you're hoping that I don't ask about your business about particularly?
What is the one thing you that just in case anyone here? What is the one
questions?
Thing
I'll go ahead and fire at that point.
I'm afraid that you'll ask about my business.
Now, what we are going to do is have an ego conversation up here. What we're going to do is we're going to dig deep into the nitty gritty, the good, the bad, the ugly,
people in your database have
and have a real conversation. I'd like to start us off Now, Keith, one thing that I know about you is you're not afraid to pick up the phone. So it surprised me that you would say that. So I'll ask the question: how many people in your database have heard from you this year?
How many? About 20%.
20%. And what's your rationale behind that? Because I know numbers and you're not afraid to work. What would cause you to only have conversations with 20% of your database? Because like if we were in person right now, I might be hitting you up alongside the head. So help me understand this.
There's two different things to that. I wouldn't say our business is doing really, really well. And most of the people that are communicating with us are making moves and the rest are not. And we are lean, mean, and not trying to go wide and crazy. So, and I've been there before where I've gone wide and crazy and overpromised a lot of past clients things in the past.
That makes sense. And Keith, the other thing that you do very well is you do social media. So even though you might not be contacting them directly, I still think that they're able to know of you. So of your database, you said that you haven't spoken. How many of them are actually part of your social media where they're still able to connect with you?
80-90%.
Okay, that right there. I think that right there is the change. And I think that's why you're getting away with this, Keith, is because you do a great job. You're not coming across needy. And I think that's probably why you're not feeling the pain of not picking up the phone where we might have had to 10 years ago. Agree or disagree?
I agree. However, it does pain me to not actually speak to them.
Well, and here's the thing is people are busy, right? As long as they know that you do a great job, you haven't forgot about them. And that's where, so do me a favor. Can you guys hear Hank or not? If you can, put yes or no, because I'm reading the feedback and I just want to know. And if not, I'll step off the call and let them run with it. Yes. Okay, perfect. Everybody else who can't hear me, log back out and log back in, and hopefully that'll work. If not, go take the lottery of time and go do something. So Elizabeth, same question to you. What is it that you hope that I won't ask you about?
We can't hear you.
I don't think Elizabeth is here yet.
All right. Hey, Vanessa, let's have you take
She
that
came
same
up on
question.
stage. She was up on stage.
Oh, she is? Okay.
She was, yeah.
I haven't seen her pop. Oh, she says I'm here. Okay.
Yeah,
You can't hear her.
Space bar, look to your left, look to your right.
Vanessa, run with the
Yes.
question.
Oh, well, don't ask me the question you just asked him because I'll get a big OF in that. So, question and that's probably my biggest thing is I'm a face-to-facer, but I'm probably 20% as well. It's you get caught up in the moment and you're so busy running that sometimes it's hard to touch everybody.
Well, and so I guess my next question to you guys is, are you making the money that you want to make, and are you having the net life that you would like to have?
No.
Okay.
I always want more.
Well, hold on, Vanessa. Keith, hold on a second.
Sure.
Vanessa, let's sit there. You always want more. Now,
Yeah, I
tell
always
me,
want to push to the next level. Like, can I do it?
for what point though? What is the next level? And tell me what the next level in 2019 is for you, so we can have a benchmark of what we're looking at. Because I'd like to be up on the stage next year with you, having the same conversation. So help us understand where you're at now, where you'd like to go in 2019, and what's that next level for you.
Where I'm at now is I'm in the 15 to 20 million range to the 20 to 25 million dollar range. And it is my struggle is it's me, myself, and I, an individual. And it's figuring out how to best duplicate my net time without having to add people, because I don't want to babysit.
Vanessa, so my question on that, and let's dig a little bit here, because this is one of the biggest challenges in our industry right now, is this particular topic. So can you tell me what the difference between, you said between 15 and 20 million consistently, what does 20 to 25 million do for you that consistency of 15 to 20 million doesn't?
Me, it's just a goal. It's can be more effective. Is that, and what does that look like? Is it, figuring out different price point? Is it, duplicating into doing some more commercial stuff? Is it, where am I expanding in my business that's going to challenge me yet push me to the next level?
Okay. See, now we're getting somewhere. So it's not more transactions. We're just talking more volume. So it's increasing the sales price, right?
Could be increasing the sales price. Absolutely. It could actually be opening the door into an avenue that I've dabbled in, but not necessarily explored 100%. So it's where is it that I'm going to be most effective, and how can I increase production and increase numbers? And sorry, you guys are hearing my Frenchie. Increase numbers and production that still service everyone. And I haven't figured out that fine balance.
Well, and I've been studying this big time, and Keith and Elizabeth, I can't wait to hear from you. Let me ask one more thing. The reality is, I believe that there's a certain capacity that knock it out of the park for our clients, and then when we start trying to go above that capacity, what we're doing is there gets ego involved, and our net goes down. So here's where my question is if you hit that capacity in real estate, have you considered taking that additional income and investing it into a business outside of real estate that's saleable?
Oh, I'm actually already doing that. I'm in the process of developing an app. I've got 3 other things going on. I'm developing an app right now, which I'll be coming to everyone that wants to participate in it. So I'm doing that. I've actually got another business that I'm starting. So I start other businesses as well. So this doesn't just mean if it's, I have goals just in real estate. So I'm not even talking about my outside businesses and other things that I do.
See, what I love about that is, in Vanessa, where I've seen a lot of people have a lot of success, is where they get their business so stable that they're tripping over 15 to 20 million, so they can do it with 20% of the time and still make 80% of the money, and then doing the other things that you're doing. So I guess the only thing that I would challenge you on is get real clear on if you had the choice between 15 to 20 million doing it in your sleep at 20 hours a week, or 20 to 25 million and you have to spend 30 hours.
I mean, I think when I look back on my year, because that's what I've been doing, because I do a lot of stuff on mindset. I think that you bring into, it's been a very challenging year in real estate for me, particularly on many different levels. My money and everything is great on there, but it's still been a very challenging with different kinds of clients. And now I'm weighing out the fact, do I necessarily want to take on some clients that you would consider risk factors? Or do I just let them go and just maybe realize I'm probably not the right person for them and let somebody else mitigate that risk? So I'm learning to differentiate who I'm willing to allow to absorb my time.
So Vanessa, what I'm hearing you say is raising your standards on where you say yes and where you say no. Because think about when we first got in the industry, we'd go show a buyer, hey, my name's what's a serial killer? I mean, we'd go show it without a pre-approval. We would just go and show anything. And now we have standards, right? So Vanessa, here's what I would challenge you to do based on what you're saying.
No, I mean, I'm even talking not dealing with $2 million clients. It is if their energy, their level, their
yes,
aptitude towards me. It has nothing to do with are they qualified or not. None of that. I already do all of that. It is really their energy. If they're sucking my soul out, is it really worth that money? And would that time that I'm spending my wills with this person because somebody else referred it and I feel an allegiance and an obligation to who referred it, and they're sucking the life out of me because quote unquote no one else could work with them or handle them, is it best use and of my time and my energy if I'm feeling so drained?
Vanessa, 100%. Do me like if I could, if you went all in on that right there, I bet you go to 20 to 25 million with less effort. If you that's your 100% barometer on whether or not you work with people. Assuming that we're doing fair housing, we're staying within the lines of that. We all agree with that, right?
Oh, absolutely.
I will bet you'll have your best year in real estate ever if you act 100% on what you're saying right there.
Oh, I just have to learn to cut bait. I feel, for me in particular, and I'm sure some of the other people are out there like this. If you're feeling that somebody's questioning, are you always out there doing the best effort for them, and you are giving, 200% of yourself, and you have nothing even left because all you're doing is giving out, and there is no appreciation level. I had to have a very candid conversation with somebody yesterday, and I'm the person that doesn't like conflict. I don't like conflict or confrontation.
Vanessa, will you write this down right here? My coach just said this to me. Move towards conflict quickly, otherwise the passive aggressiveness will show up. And Vanessa, something tells me you're freaking awesome at what you do. I can just tell by the way that you're speaking that you provide massive value. If you can raise your standards and not put up with, and I promised Jason Guessing I would never drop F-bombs from stage, MFers, like get them out, like stop working with people that don't deserve your time. I bet your business will explode.
Oh, that's my whole thing in 2019. Absolutely. Because I've had some literally some soul suckers this entire year. And I understand the MFs because that's me, and I'm having to know that I have to watch my vocabulary. So I'm really thinking really hard, and not to say those, but I think it's really difficult for people that are new or struggling when they come in and they don't realize that we have those same struggles, and we sit here with these same kind of people. And I'm somebody who thinks that with your mindset and whatever it is that you are constantly thinking, that you're drawing near. Well, anyone who knows me in my personal life, it's been a very crazy year for me getting custody of my husband's 2 girls and getting them relocated. So while I was taking a stand for them, and I don't like to use fight because I didn't want to bring any fights, I was taking a stand. It just seems that more conflict came through clients. So it's very interesting if you look at what is going on a lot of time in other areas of your life, you're actually bringing into other arenas and not necessarily realizing that. So it's like as 2018 ends,
And I think however you're showing up, guess what? That's how our customers are going to show up. Would you agree with that statement?
Not always, because you can be there willing to help, but a lot of times they project their own insecurities and their own issues that they've had in the past. They just assume that you're just like that, and you're not. You know, a lot of times it's how they are. They're projecting that onto you.
And I'd agree with what you're saying there. And I guess I always ask myself, how am I showing up that way? And one of my biggest breakthroughs in the last 3 years was I started showing up in life how I wanted my clients to show up. And it's amazing how much more my clients are showing up. For example, we're buying a car right now. How much do you think I'm negotiating on that car? Not much. I'm okay with people making money. What I want is ease. And I'm not looking to beat them out every dollar. I'm okay with them making money. And so do you think that people are okay in my life with making money? And so, Elizabeth, are you with us now?
I am. Can y'all hear me?
Oh my gosh, this is going to be so much fun, Keith.
Oh my gosh, I could hear you guys, and I kept trying to talk, so I just went out and came back in. So sorry about that. Good morning.
And Keith, I'm glad that you shifted our way of conversation here. So Elizabeth, you know that I love you. Just had a phone call for you. It went very well. And my question to you is, what is it that you don't want me to ask you about your business?
I would probably say organization and time blocking.
Okay. Which one do you think is your biggest challenge right now?
For me, they go hand in hand, both of them.
Agreed.
I mean, I say this all the time. I'm a hot mess, and it looks like I have it all together a lot of times, but in the background, I'm scrambling. I'm a lot like Vanessa, that I'm a single agent, and I do everything on my own. But you know, I have a family, and that's my number one. That's my why. So I have 4 little ones and a husband who travels all the time, and so they come first. But then I have to juggle everything else, and that's not a consistent schedule. If that makes sense. I can't say, okay, every day from 9 to 10 I'm going to do this. My day all the time. And so I find myself being more reactive than proactive. And you know, I always say I thrive in chaos, and I do multitask and manage a lot of things well, but man, I know what I should be doing and what I could be doing, and how my business and my life.
You know, here's what I like about these conversations up here is on the outside, we look like we have it all going on, yet we're a hot mess. I use a different word yet again. I'm watching my language. And so
is the abbreviation SS?
Yes.
Like mine? Yes. Okay. Good.
Yeah.
So Keith, speak to that because it sounds like you have that going on also, or maybe you've gone through it.
Absolutely. I would say, you know, part of my story is 2.5 years ago, I committed to shifting my business and bringing people into my life and going through that transition, Vanessa, to really being okay with being me, being really me, and then attracting people into my world that are okay with that, and be okay with the ones that are not, and understand that failure. Everyone up on this, all of us on this stage, all 4 of us fail way more than the average person in this room, for sure. We embrace failure, and we fail more often, and we're repeat offenders of failure to get to the successes. And so the hot mess part comes down to,
well, Keith, how long do you sit in there when you get knocked down? And if I remember, you're an athlete. When you get knocked down, you're like, "Oh, that sucked. I lost," and then you get into the next game. Would you say that's fair? Or do you sit there?
Yeah, on Saturday and Sunday of this week, I could barely sleep. I had 18-hour days, running around ragged, juggling so many different things between family and properties and real estate and everything in between. And I had 3 hours of sleep, and I was wide awake at 4 o'clock in the morning. And you know what I thought? If I was Mark Wahlberg, I'd be in my home gym in the basement, 3 levels down from my kids, working out right now. I have a home gym, it happens to be on the 3rd floor, and it's above everybody, so that wasn't an option. Yet the option was, as soon as it was acceptable to be making that kind of noise, I was hitting the weights with no sleep, running ragged, sore all over, and that cleared my brain. So yeah, thanks for reminding me of that, because this week, I'm going from landscaping and contracting muscles back to gym muscles, if anyone knows what that means.
Oh yeah.
Right. So I'm strong, but I'm strong in the wrong areas. And I go back to pushing simple weights in a uniform direction, and then I can't lift my arms for 3 days. It's hysterical. But it's all part of this journey to say, you know what, there's no excuse for me to not take care of my body and not continue to push my body in a way that my brain will function at a high level. My brain functions much higher level, first of all, around all of you. Second of all, when I'm healthy and when I have an outlet. So yeah, finding outlets is really key, and making sure you have them, because you're out. I would say that my outlet is not another deal, is not another real estate conversation. It's something else that I have on my list of, in my one of my other buckets that I have to continue to work on.
Keith, it's interesting you mentioned that, because I agree with you. I'm not like you, where I want to go work out, and I hate working out, by the way. But at the beginning of the year, I realized that I had to make myself a priority, because if I'm not taking care of me, I'm not going to be good for anybody else, including my family, my clients, or whomever. And so what I started doing is I put on, and I hate going to want to do, but I put on my calendar 2 days a week. Okay, I'm going on these 2 times, and I booked it just like an appointment. And I did so well for such a long time. And it seems like the last quarter, maybe last half of the year, we all get crazy, crazy busy. And I have not been to the gym in probably 6 or 8 months, maybe, if I'm being completely honest. And I see a shift in that. I mean, I hate going to the gym, but it does. It makes me focus. It makes me feel better. And when I'm feeling better, I project myself differently. I handle situations differently. I can manage situations differently. And I need to, what I've realized in the last month or so, as I do this at the end of every year, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm just limping to the finish line, right? And it's because I'm not doing the things I need to be doing to make me be the person that I need to be, if that makes sense. So that is already on my list. You're going to be shocked. I mean, Keith and Hank, you and well, all of you know me really well. My marketing plan for 2019 is already done, 2019, and I am shocked. But in that plan, I put a personal plan as well, and that's one of those things, because I'm only as good as I am, and if I'm not taking care of me, then it's not going to go anywhere.
Guys, I make sure I'm at the gym, and I think Elizabeth knows this. Anybody that knows me personally, I am
No,
at the
you're just
gym
crazy.
every day.
Yeah,
No,
but
I'm
she
at the, I have
competes, y'all.
to.
Like she competes. She's crazy. But yes,
Yeah,
you're
I
there
have
every day.
to.
I'm not going to arm wrestle that topic with Vanessa right now at all.
No, I wouldn't. You'll lose.
I don't know about that, guys, but I mean, I do.
I'd put you with Hank, though. I think you and Hank could that'd be an epic battle. Let's put it on the
Well,
podium.
I think Hank, you got me. I already know. I'll start laughing and it's done. It's over with. I have no power. But I think if you're really, like Elizabeth said, if you're taking care of yourself, like I have to, my brain has to go in a space where I'm being motivated. So every day, if any of you know about the Pep Talk app, love that app. So it every day it provides you with a positive motivational quote and a little pep talk. You can, if you don't want to pay for it, you don't have to. You just have to deal with the commercials. But I'm that person that'll go out and seek all this stuff that helps me stay motivated. So, one of the other agents here that's just locally,
what's
she
that
lives.
Hey, do you want to
Pep Talk?
Pep Talk?
Pep Talk.
It's the app.
The app. Mm-hmm.
Got it.
And
Yep.
it's a great app, guys. There's people that joke around, like today it says fear is the disease, hustle is the antidote. So every day you pop up and there's a quote, and then you can share it if you want it on social media or what have you. But there's different podcasts that come along with this app, and it's really amazing, some of these people's stories, and it then motivates you. So whatever it is that's going on in my particular head that is kind of negative self-talk or what have you, it puts me in a frame like, wow, okay, it's not that bad. Here's what I need to do to get out of it. And, it's refreshing to know that there's other people out there that have had challenges. It's in getting you back.
Vanessa, I run with a pretty awesome group, and the majority of our conversations are how are we keeping our mindset in the right place? Because business is easy when you have everything else figured out. How many of you guys are in therapy right now out of the three of you?
Not me.
I have an intuitive life coach that I speak with. Maybe sometimes it's once every week, but mostly at least once every 2 weeks.
Hey, Hank.
Yeah.
My therapy is, there are plenty of ways to understand how to get yourself balanced. My therapy is my family. I mean, they put me in check all the time, and I recognize that. And I would say that I'm a supplement junkie, and I don't mean like too many of them. I know what I need to take every day to balance my body. And so supplements are there, and nutrition, is there for that piece for me.
Oh, I think that's a key factor. If you guys aren't putting the right things in your body, as well, that's all about taking care of yourself. That's why getting to the gym, even if it's a walk, whatever it is, it doesn't have to be the gym, but whatever it is, your exercise outlet, I think that's really important because you're feeding your body. And if you're feeding your body through exercise and with food, a lot of other things will fall into place, mindset, all that. If you ever notice, if you eat junky, you feel junky. And if you feel junky, that comes out.
And for all of those in the audience right now that aren't going to the gym and aren't eating well, I'm the one up here to tell you I'm not either. So you're not alone. So I'm like going, gosh, I mean, I think we all know what we need to do, and it's like the end of the year, the holidays, things like that. I don't drink caffeine and I don't agree with each other, but I find myself this time of the year always in coffee meetings with people. And so I have to drink half decaf or whatever. And I just feel blah, but it's like, I know what I need to be doing. It's just you kind of get in this, again, it goes back to the time management and organization that I was talking about with Hank, right? I mean, you're just kind of going, and you're not really stopping to, eat healthy or plan or do that thing. And it's just a snowball effect. So I agree that I need to be doing what you guys are doing. I think we all
right,
know
Elizabeth,
that. But
we're going to pivot.
But I just want you to know, but I just want you to know you're not alone for those that aren't.
We're going to pivot.
Let's pivot.
We're gonna pivot because how many of you guys does this statement ring true? I've made way too much freaking money to be this broke. I've made way too much money to be this broke.
Absolutely. I think we've all been there.
So here's where I'd like to bring more awareness around is how many times in the last 12 months have you guys had cash flow crunches?
I'm so glad you're asking.
Go ahead, Keith.
More than I'd like to count.
All right. So a year ago, yes, exactly. I would say exactly to the day 1 year ago, I made a commitment that in January, I wasn't traveling to a conference to meet up with a whole bunch of great-minded people because I was going to drop $15,000 into a property that I didn't even own yet. And it was a last-minute must-do scenario with a property sitting at the auction steps that I had to either make restitution or not. When I made that decision, I said to myself, this is a small risk. Make the next one much bigger. That's exactly what I said to myself. I didn't say don't do this again. I said make this bigger. 12 months later, 11 months later from when that happened, I'm right now in the middle of a big cash flow crunch because I made a much bigger risk, 10 times that risk this time around. No, sorry. Nearly 20 times that risk this time around, yet the payoff is going to get me out of that. I've made way too much money to be this broke.
Well, and I believe a lot of us are like addicts where we think that our next commission will take care of it. So what I appreciate about this is the honesty in the conversation. So cash flow crunches, Elizabeth, Vanessa, either of you guys run into that much like Keith and I?
Absolutely. I mean, I think that as you're doing business and stuff like that, I've personally this year, like I said, it's been a cash flow crunch because I took on something that I don't think I was prepared, as mentally prepared to take on, that was in my personal life. And I end up coming into it. Is it the most rewarding? Absolutely. Is it worth every penny forward? Absolutely. But it wasn't a number that I was prepared for. And I think when you, it was a risk that, like you said, is go big or, sometimes go home. Yes, it's absolutely worth it. And everything that's coming in fruition, I just know 2019, it is, I'm going to make some adjustments so that it doesn't play out again like this, if that makes sense.
It does make sense. And the point that I'm looking to make at is something, it drove me absolutely freaking bonkers watching people up on stage and not getting to the real stuff, where we're trying to sell people on the fact that we have everything together. This morning I woke up at 2:00 in the morning because I realized that I was in a little bit of a cash flow crunch for the first time. From 2:00 in the morning till 6:00 in the morning, I went and solved it by adjusting and some pausing and moving some things around. And I would like everybody in the audience right now, figure out a dollar amount in your personal savings that could overcome any cash flow crunch that you've had in the last 2 to 5 years. Dollar amount there ASAP. You're broke until that happens. There isn't a top agent that I talked to that within the last 12 months hasn't had a cash flow crunch, and it's because we want to, and I'm saying we don't want to put enough money away. Elizabeth, am I talking? Am I by myself up here?
You're not by yourself.
I don't think you're by yourself. This one, I haven't had cash flow problems just because I'm very, very strategic in what my goals are for my family for the year, if that makes sense. And so I know I give a lot to charity involvement and things like that. And so I always kind of know what numbers I'm going to be doing and what I'm going to be able to do. And I'm not a spender. I don't really, so I don't really have a lot to add. That I'm trying to figure out the right words to say so that it doesn't make me sound like
no. Let's pause here. If you haven't been in a cash flow crunch, this is where I think, because I don't think any of us in this room I think we've all had cash flow challenges. So what do you think has been the number one contributing factor to you not having had a cash flow crunch in the last 12 months?
Because I'm not a spender. I don't spend a ton on marketing. I just try to figure out stuff that's effective. When I bought my car, I saved for my car, so I don't have car payments. I have my mortgage and things like that, but I just, and I've got 4 little ones that I just try to teach them. And I'm not saying y'all do this, but I just try to teach them it's not about stuff, and it's about experiences and just being involved and being present. And so we don't go buy a bunch of stuff. If we don't need something, we're not buying it. And so the money just kind of comes into the account, and so I can use it when needed. And I don't know how else to put that, but
well, here's what I'm hearing, Elizabeth, is you have standards in place, which creates boundaries, and then the boundaries create action. So your standards are, you don't want to spend money that you don't have, so you put boundaries in place where you just don't do certain things. Therefore you get momentum. Everybody write this down, please. +1. What if you never had a month where you went backwards in net worth, meaning every single month you were +1 and you never went backwards in cash flow or net worth? What would your life look like today? Think about that. It's so simple, yet how many of us on a monthly basis are looking at our P&L to make sure that our net worth doesn't go $1 backwards? It's always in the positive, +1. It's simple. Yet the people that I've seen implement this and doing whatever it takes are growing their net worth exponentially. Anything else that either 3 of you would like to add to this topic, or maybe have me help look at something differently?
One thing I do, I can add that maybe this is something that helps. I meet with my CPA quarterly. I sit down with him. I have the number. I couldn't tell you if you told me to pull my numbers or pull my P&L right now. I couldn't tell you what that is. because I don't focus on it on a daily basis, but I do know quarterly what I need to do, what I need to be spending, what I don't need to be doing, because I'm meeting with him. And you know, I invest money in his advice, but I think that's probably been a big thing about why, you know, why I feel like I'm in the situation I'm in.
So Elizabeth, is it safe to say that if you're an S corp or whatever the case you are making your monthly, or I make monthly, I'm an S corp, I've got to do a semi-weekly. Are you making your tax payments ahead of time?
I am. Yeah, I am. Pictures printed out for me that I know when they're due. I'm making my tax payments. I'm set up where, you know, the money for my comes out of my account for payment, things like that. I just have it all set up so that I don't, it's already done. That's not even an option to not do it.
Thank you. Vanessa, Keith.
Yeah.
Anything from a tax standpoint that you wish you would have known now that or 20 years ago or 5 years ago that you know now? Any stupid tax that you can help save us from?
All I'm gonna say, go ahead, Keith, and then I'll answer.
No, go ahead, because I'm a fourth generation accountant's son, so I'll answer after you.
Let's just say this, guys. I'll be the first to tell you, if you ever want to know, don't do what I did. I will be the first to tell you what Elizabeth has done, and I wish I would have done it sooner. I wasn't advised to do it sooner. And if I would have, I wouldn't have gotten myself in a tax mess. So I've had to figure out ways to get out because I didn't do what Elizabeth did. So 2 years ago, I actually did an S corp and did all of that, where I do quarterly and so forth. And it has been a savior. But I will tell you that if you don't do it that way, you will easily find yourself in, because as you grow exponentially and you want to be where we are and you want to make this money, all of a sudden this money's coming in. And if you don't realize that you've got to have a separate tax account going into, and you're paying that out where you don't even see that, it's like it's a different complete account that you don't monitor, you don't anything. When you get paid your commissions, you need to be automatically taking that 20-25% and putting it into another account. And if you're not,
and Vanessa, it sucks being in that position.
Oh, it does. Let me tell you what, it absolutely does. And I mean, I made some bad decisions and I helped other people, because as we speak of not setting up boundaries, I helped other people before helping myself. And it's what put me in the situation. So I'll be the first to tell anybody, hey, you want to call me, you want to know the down and dirty, I'm happy to tell you, because I don't want to see anybody else repeat those mistakes.
So Vanessa, Tony DeCello, who I think is one of the most brilliant coaches I've ever met, and from our former company, or my former company, once said this: and if you're behind on taxes right now, I'm talking with you. 50 cents of every dollar that you make, you send to the IRS, and you get this problem taken care of. Money back as if somebody owes you money, and how you would expect them to pay you back. Guys, you do not mess with the IRS. And the number one challenge that I see with top producers that start making money is they get in tax challenges. And it's the biggest downfall you'll have for your business that I've seen. Would you guys, the three of you up here, would you run in a pretty good circle? Keith, you grew up as an accountant's son. What do you have to add to the conversation?
Well, first of all, I probably would have backed, when I first got into real estate, I would have hired someone else other than my family to do my taxes, number one. Really, from that perspective, different classifications of your employment and where your write-offs are, everything else are completely different. I would say, a big piece of the communication, I mean, a big piece of where I've found people getting into trouble is communication with their spouse about the money and about where it's supposed to go and what it's supposed to do. As a lead rainmaker, let me ask the audience, how many of you are in real estate as the sole breadwinner in your household or the main breadwinner in your household? Type in you are, if you are, say you are, because that part changes the dynamic. Not to say that everyone doesn't have challenges, yet running a business that is paying all the bills and is paying all the main bills is different when that money comes in and you don't plan for taxes because all of that commission goes to all of your expenses. We all get it. You're in control of your money, and the IRS doesn't take it out and someone else doesn't take it out. When people say they have a separate account for that, but do you actually put the money there when times are tough or when you have a cash crunch? No. You got to keep the lights on. You got to pay the mortgage. You got to put gas in the car. Yeah, you have 3 kids running around and all of the activities they're in is expensive. And all that gas and time you're running around town is expensive. And yes, is the life of a real estate broker expensive? Yes, it is. So that's, when it comes back to time blocking to do the tasks that are most important to be efficient enough to sell 30, 40, 50 homes a year, to balance that out, that's where the rubber meets the road. You don't make enough money to sustain your life and pay taxes.
And do me a favor here. Don't you even think about bringing somebody else on your team, an assistant, a team member. If you are running a P&L that you're looking at every single month or meeting with your accountant every single quarter, don't you dare bring somebody else into your world and make the problem worse. Meaning, one of the biggest challenges I see with real estate agents is they don't know their P&L. So Vanessa, Keith, Elizabeth, how long would it take for you to produce me a P&L if I asked it for it?
45 seconds.
Awesome.
Yeah, I can't answer like that. I'm completely opposite. It would take me a couple days.
Yeah, but here's the thing is, Elizabeth, you've earned the right to have it take you a couple days because you've put yourself in a position and it's not as a hot topic for you. Does that make sense?
It does, yeah. But it's
still, mine would
here's the
be
other
a few
thing.
hours. So, I mean, I'm in between both of them,
Here's the thing I talk about with me, and when people are like, how do you not know your numbers? How do you not know this stuff? And the numbers to me are not important. And to me, the numbers are a distraction. And I don't know if that makes sense to a lot of people, but if I'm focusing on my numbers and my P&L, and this might not, you might not agree, but this is just
because
me.
You don't have bad behaviors. When people have bad behaviors and big egos, they need to know about the numbers. You don't have bad behaviors and a big ego, so it doesn't get you in trouble.
Well, it's not even about getting in trouble. It's a distraction for me, because if I start looking at my numbers, so say I make a big goal for the year. I don't have goals every year, because if I'm looking at the goal, then I'm looking at that goal and I'm the day-to-day stuff I need to do to get to that goal. So I eventually will get to that goal that I don't really have set, because I'm doing the right things that I'm supposed to be doing day to day. I have my CPA. When I started treating my business more as a business than as a hobby, right? And I hired my real estate attorney and I hired my CPA. That's when I rely on them to do that. And so they can know my numbers, and if I needed to pull it together in a couple of days, I could pull it together a couple of days. But you're right, I'm not making I'm probably making some poor decisions, but in a day-to-day basis, I'm just focused on my clients and focused on my business, so that I will ultimately get to the goal that gets me as icon or whatever it is, but I'm not focused on that number as much.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Because here's the thing is, it's not like you're out there running like you're making $10,000 and you're running a business that takes $30,000. And guys, you got to look at where your behavior's at. Yeah, Elizabeth, I believe that you are not the norm when I run with agents. And so I couldn't agree more. If I could have everybody in your position, Elizabeth, from this conversation all day long. So when we look at what we're going to do in 2019 differently, to the 3 of you up here, I think we'd all agree that the business is going to be a little bit different than what maybe it's been in the last 12 months. What are you going to do different in 2019 that that will put you where you want to be?
I can answer this. I mean, that's what I've been looking at, is what am I not taking use of that I should be taking use of? I mean, we have KV Core right there. I'll be the first to tell you, I have not learned it. I have not used it. And I know that it could be an asset to help me get some of the more challenging listings and so forth sold quicker. I think it's just using some of the tools that we've been given.
We lost you.
Whoops, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Now
Okay.
yep.
So I was saying that basically that I need to take use of some of the tools that are being offered to us, like KV Core and some other things that are out there that are given to us and we're not taking use of. And I know that's my big thing. That's my big thing this year is really going, okay, digging in and say, what are all the things that eXp offered me? I came over literally because I looked at it and I said, wait a minute, just on my own numbers, I'm giving myself an exponential raise. Why wouldn't I come over? I didn't really care about all the other stuff. Well, now as I'm moving forward and I need to get myself, because it's my own personal goal. If I don't hit 25 million, I am going to explode in my head. It's a number for me. That's just me. I need to push myself more, and that's just for me. But and no one's saying I need to do this. This is just me and my number and my always thing. But if you're not using all the different tools that are out there for you to use with very little investment, then that's where you should look.
What
And that's
about you?
I'm doing.
What about you, Keith?
What am I going to be doing differently in 2019 outside of attracting 100 people to EXP? Yeah, that. No.
Well, let's go there because
I'm going to go back to that in a second. So, what I'm going to do, what I do differently to continue to execute my plan is transition into a new construction marketing team. We have a development side of our business, and we are developing at the 17 different urban infill lots within our downtown area. Some we're developing directly, some with partners, some through our builder clients that will be representing all of this. So bringing in a new way of marketing for us versus the traditional MLS route with actual sites for the different pocket neighborhoods and bringing possibly some virtual reality tour components to that is the thing we must do to continue to execute the plan. So, but thanks for reminding me by asking. So important that I tend to ask myself a lot of questions versus tell myself I have to do something. I just ask the question, self, what must you do in 2019? So thanks for asking the question, Hank.
Love it.
But otherwise, yes. But otherwise, I am being extreme outside of my SS life and and all the things I've got going on and all the crazy things. And I even, all three of you know, I have a new project for 2019 and I've set goals and I put that out there and it's really awesome. But outside of all those things, I feel absolutely 100% irresponsible that I've not introduced this amazing company to all of my friends in real estate that I know locally right here in my market.
I agree, Keith. And you know what? I couldn't agree more that you could meet those goals if you choose to. For whatever reason, you've put up this barrier on having not done it yet. So would you say that you've overcome that barrier and you're ready to go make it happen in 2019?
Absolutely.
Okay, so how many are you going to have? How many are you going to help join eXp between now and 2019 at this time?
100 people.
Okay, perfect. What's the bet?
Do you want?
Heck yeah, I want to bet. Keith, I love you. I would love nothing more than to eat crow and have you reach that. And in fact, I'll even help you reach that goal because on January 1st of this year, I had 95. I have 363 now. So I figured out some things that don't work and a few things that do work. If you want to go all in, I'll help you, brother.
Let's say the wager is I take you to Cleveland to the Rock and Roll and NFL Hall of Fame.
All right, we'll figure something out. And here's
because I believe it, just like Elizabeth, it has to do with experiences, right? So it has to do with,
Oh yeah.
you meet the goal,
Yeah.
then, then someone, eats crow, or someone pays for something because someone helps someone get there. I'm all about it.
Well, and here's the thing is, Keith, I believe that you have huge influence over the people in your market area, and for whatever reason, you haven't used that. And that's where I want to put a little pressure on you, because I think it's BS that you haven't helped more people come over and join the company. Would you say I'm being a little bit too rough on you, or is that fair to say?
Absolutely 100% fair to say.
Perfect. So yeah, I'm going to lean on you because I know that you have influence, and I want to see you grow because I know what it will do for all those around you. How about Elizabeth or Vanessa? Would you like to chime in on that one?
On the wager or what I'm doing different in 2019?
Either one. This is fun.
Well, I mean, I know I'm the same way as Elizabeth. I haven't shared it, with as many people as I probably should, because I'm Elizabeth, I got it immediately. Elizabeth looked at me the next day. I was like, okay. And they're like, no, it doesn't go this fast. I'm like, I don't care. I make more money, bottom line. So, I just had my first experience with somebody who did that yesterday. She jumped in and she already signed up. Like she was a California agent that moved to Texas. So,
and that's the thing is, like, the reality is, it's not like if you're in a relationship, ask the question, have the conversation, like, don't be attached to the outcome, because I mean, the reality is all of us have relationships, and for whatever reason, we're not engaging in the conversation, and it just baffles me. Elizabeth, the gal that I talked to today, oh my gosh, if she didn't connect with you, I look at the difference in her world. It's like a perfect fit for this gal.
Yes, and by the way, thank you for doing that. Yes, she and I have been connecting. She's fired up and pumped, and sometimes it takes a few people just to give their experience, and so that's one of the things I do too. I meet with people all the time on behalf of other people. I mean, like Vanessa or anybody in my market can call me and say, hey, will you meet with an agent or talk to an agent? Sure. I mean, that's what we all do. We all build each other up and you're in. So that's how I'm helping people here. But yeah, thank you for calling her.
So, all right, here's one. If you could ask Glenn Sanford one question, what would it be?
I've got it.
What drives and motivates you?
Okay, perfect. What drives and motivates you? What's the question behind that? What is it that you're looking to find out by asking him that question?
Just really what makes his mind tick?
Okay.
Like, what is it that makes your time, because our drive and motivation, everybody is different. Like, what motivates Elizabeth and what motivates me are two different things, but we can go out and get the same similar results. Sometimes hearing what the drive and motivation of someone else is allows you to be able to get to your next level. So
love it.
It's just really knowing what drives and motivates personally. Doesn't matter if it's business or personal. It's just, what is it that drives and motivates you personally?
Great question. Elizabeth or Keith?
I would ask, my favorite question to ask the most powerful or influential or intimidating person in any room, anytime, is to walk up to them, make sure they have a drink in their hand or whatever it is, make sure they're not about to run off, somehow get introduced to them, and then just ask them, what's your biggest challenge? Okay. And I would just go deep with Glenn on that. And it's really cool. However, I would probably ask in this environment, if Glenn stepped on stage right now and said, hey, Keith, go ahead, fire a question at me. My question would be, as we labeled the Uber, the Amazon of real estate, and the evolution of Amazon is such that they're opening up stores again, at what point in the future does eXp end up with storefronts as part of the model, or will that just never be part of the model?
Keith, what's interesting about that, have you read the book, how it's on membership? And there's a great dialogue on that particular topic right there on the evolution of it. Hopefully all you guys are people who study the people that have gone before us. I think that's a great question, Keith. In fact, I'm gonna see Glenn next week. I'll ask him that specific question. So, Vanessa, back to you, and it's CNN version. Mm-hmm. What drives you?
What drives me? I have an innate drive that if I am not doing better and improve myself previously from the day before, and I'm not going out then and inspiring somebody else to do that, then I've failed that day. So every day, what drives me is inspire somebody else, because I'm always trying to figure out how can I be better than I was yesterday. So how can I do that in somebody else?
Love it. Elizabeth.
Drives me.
Nope.
Nope.
If you could ask me any one question, what would it be?
Hank?
I just threw a twist at you.
Oh, we might need a little more than a few minutes on that one. No. No, I love you, Hank. Okay, there are a bunch of questions out there. What question do you want me to answer?
Well, the question that I believe that a lot of the success comes from you guys because of the questions that you ask yourself and the questions that you ask others. What's your most favorite question to ask people?
I answer mine.
Yeah, I know
Mine's the what's your biggest challenge?
Hey,
yeah.
Keith, we're on Elizabeth though. Elizabeth, what do you got?
Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a standard question to ask somebody. I just get to know people and then I ask them questions to get to know them. So I don't have a one standard question. If I were to ask Glenn what one question, I'm sitting here trying to figure out what I would ask him. I don't know. I mean, I feel like I have a pretty good sense of Glenn and everything he's done for us as agents and as a company. And so I'm at a loss of what I would ask him right now. I'm sorry, that's very boring.
But you're right. But Elizabeth, you were so genuine and real that it was so great when I got to meet you in person. You were exactly who I had met here in eXp world, right here on this stage, basically. And I'm telling you, it's not one thing. You find that one thing to ask someone, when you're at the moment. And I love that. You've got a great gift.
Thank you. I just want to make a difference in people's lives and just, I love getting to know people. I want to make a difference in my family's lives or the community. I'm super focused on that. I mean, right now, y'all, I'm sitting in my office and in my living room since 8 this morning, we've had over almost 100 people dropping off gifts because we had 100 children adopted for the Holiday Wishes program. And so my whole living room is filled with bikes and gifts that's all going on with my friends in the other room. And I was like, I've got to go teach this. But like, that's what moves me. How can we make a difference? We're going to make a difference in 100 kids' lives. How can I make a difference in my kids' lives, in the school, in the teachers' lives, in our eXp community? That's what life is about to me. And I've been extremely blessed and I'm able to give back in different ways. And I want my children to grow up and see that. I want them to understand empathy and appreciation and generosity. And I mean, my kids went and shop for these kids and it's not about, hey, what do I get to give? They're like, what can we give? And so that's the approach and with other people. And so that's just that's my interaction with people, no matter what setting they're in.
Well, Vanessa, you brought up energy earlier, and I think all three of us would agree that Elizabeth, when you get around her energy is just one of that you want to be around.
Absolutely.
And so many times I find with people, if their business is lacking, I ask them, what's your energy like? Do you even like being around yourself?
I mean, I think that's a very good point. So many people don't look inside themselves. Every day I wake up and I'm like, before my feet hit the ground, what are the 3 things that I'm most grateful for in my life? What are those? And at the end of the day, I look at my day and say, okay, through that day, even if they were challenges, what is it that I'm grateful for? What is it that I've learned from can I go forward? And Elizabeth knows this. My big thing is gratitude. I have an intent bracelet that I wear in gratitude. This past year, I've given my clients a gratitude jar. So, I mean, you can put notes in it, you can put money, whatever it is that is your way of having an intent of gratitude. Jars are really important because I think in our lives, if we're not grateful, because the challenges are what really pushes us. If you're in time of crunch, you know that you're going to figure it out a way. Look what you did this morning, Keith. You said from 2 to 6, you were in a crunch. You figured that crunch out. And sometimes we're always in this constant creation of flow and creating things, but it's the time of crunches that actually bring us the biggest changes and challenges of how to overcome things.
Hey, Vanessa, it sounds like you use the Best Self Journal.
I think that is one of them that I've used in the past. Yes.
Because that habit of the things you're most grateful for when you wake up in the morning and at the end of the day as well. For those in the room, Best Self Journal, I don't know, .com or something. I'm telling you, it is a great time blocking mindset management tool for every day of the year, and it's not even numbered or dated, so you can miss a few days and hop right back into it. It helps me every single day.
Yeah, it's a pretty amazing tool. One year I actually gave all those. I think that's years ago. I bought 50 of them and I gave them out.
Awesome.
You know, guys, we're at the top of the hour, and I want to say thank you to the three of you that came up here and shared so openly. It humbles me on the transparency of our core values here at the company that I've seen from the Icon agents, and the truth that you share with everyone. If you guys are enjoying this style of Icon conversations, let us know. If you're not, let us know that meeting with Glenn next week, and we're about here and serving the agents and getting you guys what you want. So if you like what you're hearing, do us a favor, tell another agent that it's of value. If you're not, tell us or somebody in leadership position that can get it going in the right direction. That's it, guys. I appreciate you, and hopefully I'll see you guys soon.
Hank, thanks so much for your time.